Hello, my name is Nadja Tao, and I have been doing a series of conversation starters. Today's question is from simplyholisticwc.com. And the question is, pumpkin spice, love it or leave it? I love pumpkin spice. I do think we've overdone it with the huge variety of goods that we give a pumpkin spice flavor or scent to. But I specifically love the Starbucks pumpkin spice latte. Maybe all Starbucks pumpkin spice drinks. I'll go to the local cafes and I'll have a fall menu, which usually includes a pumpkin spice drink, but it's never as good as a Starbucks pumpkin spice drink. It's never as good as a Starbucks pumpkin spice latte or the pumpkin spice cold brew, where pumpkin spice flavor is a little foam on the top. But you know what else is surprisingly good is the pumpkin spice flavored coffee that Starbucks puts out. And for every tall pumpkin spice latte that you get, you can probably make about 4 or 5 flavored coffees at home. A tall pumpkin spice latte is about $6.45. So if you take into account the cream and sweetener, you could probably make about 4 or 5 flavored coffees with that one pumpkin spice latte. And if you make your own coffee, you do have to wash, then buy the mug. And you have to buy a coffee maker, but I think it's probably just pennies to wash a mug. And the savings would pay for the mug and coffee maker pretty quickly. Starbucks also doesn't have a sugar-free option for pumpkin for pumpkin spice lattes. So if you're doing something like keto, or you're avoiding sugar for whatever reason, like if you have diabetes, you need to make your pumpkin spice coffees at home. And in any case, my Starbucks in a grocery store took away the main reason I used to go to Starbucks, which is to have a place to sit down and feel energized and mentally uncluttered to do some kind of work that I'm just not as motivated to do alone and by myself. So the idea of just making the coffee myself at home has gained a lot of appeal for me. Another pumpkin spice product I'd recommend is Birch Bender's Pumpkin Spice Pancake Mix. The pancakes come out really warm and moist and soft, and that brings forward the spices. If you're trying to cut back on sugar, you can Google keto pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. I found a recipe for those in an ebook, and they turned out amazing. So I think that adding a little chocolate to pumpkin spice products works out really nicely. And, I think I actually like pumpkin spice more when it's off season, when it's not fall, because I don't get bombarded with the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the ginger and the cloves yet. I do get tired of that flavor profile by the end of fall. It hangs around for Christmas a little bit too. But, I don't think there's quite an equivalent flavor profile for spring or summer or winter. The peppermint mocha, I definitely think of that as a Christmassy seasonal kind of treat. But there isn't really a flavor that's going to absolutely blast you with that sense of nostalgia and sentimentality and warmth toward the season like pumpkin spice. I think all the brands are trying to get a little piece of that nostalgia pie. So it's everywhere, and it's understandable to hate pumpkin spice. I think people are naturally inclined to dislike cliches. And I guess pumpkin spice products are a little bit like a marketing department's cliche. But speaking of nostalgia pie, there's also pumpkin pie. And the best pie, and that's made with the same spice. So those are my thoughts on the question, pumpkin spice, love it or leave it. Please leave your answer in the comment section below. Please like, please subscribe. And I'm going to color in this ghost a little bit. Maybe this dark purple. Yeah, it looks kind of blue. Little random triangles. Not much has happened to me this morning, so I don't really have a lot to say. I tried the sandwich that I was talking about in my last video. The sandwich with smoked salmon and capers and red onion and ricotta cheese on sourdough. It was pretty good. I do think it's a little bit expensive because I made 2 sandwiches and that took up a whole $5 bag of, well, I guess it's not that bad. I spent about $5 on the packet of smoked salmon. I got about 2 sandwiches out of a packet and a half, and so it's a little over $5 for 2. So it's about $2.50, $2.75 just for the salmon for 2 sandwiches. That's a little bit more expensive of a sandwich. If I had to guess, I would say that the sandwich cost maybe $5 to make. So, I mean, it's not terrible for the price of a meal, but I think other kinds of meat are probably cheaper. Although, hamburger is a meat that is getting very expensive. I used to always get the lean hamburger, but the lean hamburger is like $10 or $11 for a pound, and the kind of hamburger with a lot of fat is more like $7 or $8 a pound. So I've been eating a less healthy hamburger. This is a nice little accent color. You hear people make fun of people for getting art degrees, but in my opinion, and it's not like you couldn't learn this elsewhere, very possibly, but an art degree does teach you to zero in on the things that you find meaningful, and teaches you to put a lot of effort into things. Like, I don't think you learn to really try to make something the absolute best it can be unless you have some kind of an artistic streak. And I mean, I guess some people express that artistic streak as like entrepreneurial stuff where you're building, a new business or something like that. I include that as something creative. But yeah, I think if you do some of the standard stuff, you do it because you feel like you're good at it. And if you're not just naturally good at it, you probably aren't going to want to work that hard at it. But with the arts, it's like, you have a vision for something and you might not have the skill to bring that to pass, but you are going to put in the effort to somehow try to manifest that vision. And yeah, it's my little rant on that topic. I mean, there are other ways to learn discipline, or I don't know what to call it. Motivation to do something really meaningful and put all your effort into it. I don't know. It seems like with most things, you try to do the bare minimum, or you try to get by with, you see what you can get away with, in terms of being kind of sloppy and putting in less effort. I think with art, I mean, you don't want to waste your time and energy, but I think that the fact that it's so special to you personally means that you're willing to work for free, and that's a very exploitable thing. I think I'm gonna leave this here. I don't know what this is. Is this like a yarmulke or I don't know. All right. Well, I will hope to see you in the next video. Happy Halloween.